This has been a long requested video, so let's get to it. I've done several upgrades now, but I haven't kept up with making videos, so some of these changes you may have noticed on streams or gameplay footage that I've uploaded. Like before, this cockpit is designed to play Star Citizen and Flight Simulation. However, as it's my only place to play games, it also had to be designed to be able to play any game that I'd like to play, not just space or flight simulation. For more information, you can check out my other videos, but let's get to the upgrade. The first, most obvious visual change is the color scheme. I've added purple lighting to help better contrast with the prominent green buttons and interfaces around the cockpit. The result of this change is details that are easier to pick up since they are not being washed out. This is something that I noticed from my older videos and streams. With this change, it should be a better visual experience for the viewer. Speaking of visual experience, on the hardware side, I've upgraded from a 34-inch 21:9 aspect ratio ultra-wide to a 49-inch 32:9 aspect ratio 5120 by 1440 monitor. This gives an expanded field of view as wide as the physical Simpit itself and works amazingly with track IR. Upgrading the flight controls was also a priority. I had started off originally with a SciTech X55 and quickly upgraded to a Thrustmaster Warthog. However, after playing with that for some time, I decided it was time to retire the stick and throttle. I needed to go one step further and upgrade to dual stick. After looking at all the options, my choices were a couple of sticks from Virpil, a Constellation Delta on the left, and an MT50 CM2 on the right. Why not dual Constellation Alphas, some of you might be asking? I do have a Constellation Alpha on pre-order, but there are unfortunately delays in getting them. Even without the Alpha, the combination of grips and bases from Virpil is a decided improvement over my previous Thrustmaster setup. Given that I can't leave well enough alone though, I knew I would be modifying something along the way to get closer to what I think is an ideal setup, so the Delta has been placed on a custom angle mount to allow it to behave more like an omnidirectional throttle. The result is push forward to go forward, pull back to go back. Tilt right to go right, and tilt left to go left. No different than your standard dual stick setup. However, with the stick angled and the twist axis aligned so twisting happens up and down, this gives a more natural feeling for vertical strafe. The mouse tray has been upgraded to include lighting to match the color scheme of the pit. Just like before, the mouse tray can be moved into and out of place when required. I am using a Logitech G600 mouse. The number of buttons on the side of this mouse, plus an extra ring finger button, allows for full control on foot or an EVA without having to use a keyboard. This is achieved by taking advantage of the mini stick on the Constellation Delta to control movement like WASD. In games that support it, this allows for fine analog control over speed. We can also take advantage of the other control axes on the Delta, such as leaning the stick to lean in game. And this also works to roll when prone. Finally, you can use the same setup while in EVA to control roll, forward-back movement, horizontal and vertical strafe while we aim with the mouse. This gives the best of both worlds of a controller and a normal keyboard and mouse setup. That is, fine analog control for movement with mouse precision for gunplay. Because the center section was redesigned to accommodate the Virpil base, I've added a keyboard to another tray that can be slid in and out of place when needed. For any games that do not support or would otherwise not work well with the analog mapping of the Delta to a keyboard, the Logitech G13 gamepad also remains on its own sliding tray to be used under those circumstances. All other functions of the Simpit, such as the landing gear lights and the autopilot panel for more serious flight sims, remain in place and work exactly as detailed in my previous videos. I've also been working on improving the quality of streams and recordings by cleaning up the lower part of the stream to show the cockpit, and by adding additional content and interfaces to the MFDs with assets that can be shared for streaming by using OBS projectors. The holographic targeting computer works as before, allowing me to see the gunner's view in real time. Also display some elements that can be used on the MFDs and the stream, allowing it to act as an additional display. This is all still a work in progress. These elements are also compatible with other games, with this example being shown from PlanetSide 2. I can display the minimap, vehicle status, communication, and more on the cockpit displays. Because Star Citizen has a more diegetic HUD, there are not as many elements that can be captured for use in this way. Instead, I can create and display my own elements to enhance the cockpit experience. Perhaps later in development, we will have more options for additional auxiliary displays using data driven directly from the game. For now, the MFDs can still be used to control other programs, such as communications software, without needing to Alt-Tab out of game. Or they can be used to display additional custom HUD elements. As previously mentioned, I'm looking forward to getting the Constellation Alpha to finish off the next upgrade. If you like this video, please like it down below. And if you want more content like this, and more gameplay footage, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're looking to join Star Citizen, please check the description below for my referral code, and information about my org. It all helps me out. Thanks.